All right, guys, welcome back to another video. And today I'm really excited to talk about a unique list on this channel that I love doing every year, and that is my top favorite things of 2024. Now, this could be gaming items, tech products, whatever the case may be, just my favorite things of 2024. And I'm really excited about this year's list because I've done these lists the last couple of years, and I haven't really been able to make a top 20 because there hasn't been that many things that I've, gotten new or purchased or received or whatever the case may be. But this year, there was actually more than 20 things, and I shrunk it down to my top 20, which is obviously awesome because that means there was a lot of good things that released this year, a lot of cool things that I received, a lot of cool things that I could showcase to you guys to see if you guys are interested in these things, and just talk about these things. This is going to be a rather long video because these are top 20 things, and I want to talk about each one of them a little bit, give you guys an idea why they're on this list and why I like them so much. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
All right, guys, so the first one here coming in at number 20 has got to be the Nintendo clock. I don't think anybody had this on their bingo card to be released in 2024, but I actually think it's a pretty cool thing to have on your bedside. It adds a little bit more fun for those of us who are into Nintendo and games and stuff like that. Before I just had my regular cell phone kind of sitting right there and it would have my alarm. It would just be a generic alarm next to my bedside. But the fact that you can now come in here and you have all these different selections from all of these different Nintendo properties, like Super Mario Odyssey, for example, where they have a selection of music and stuff like that, like New Donk City, that they actually wake you up in, like Zelda and stuff like that, which is really awesome. All of these different tunes, and not even that, but you can not only have an alarm, but then it also has sleepy sounds as well, so you can actually, you know, have every hour an hourly chime kind of play every time that an hour is about to hit. It plays a chime from the actual theme that you have, and then whatever theme you choose, whether it be Mario Odyssey or Zelda and stuff like that, it actually takes that theme in front. Like right now I have it set to randomize, so for me you can see here right in the front what the current theme is actually set to there, which is super cool. So it always changes for me because I always have it set up. And you could download new ones as well. They've already announced that Mario Kart is coming already onto this as well. You can see you get notifications and you could download new alarms and stuff like that. So for me, I thought it was super cool. Something unique out of Nintendo and stuff like that. Like again, it's a pretty unique product to kind of just have on your bedside and be waken up by different parts of the games that you're actually used to hearing, like New Donk City and stuff. And it actually, Bowser comes up and stuff like that while you're doing this, which is pretty funny if you don't get out of bed, because it actually has sensors on the bed as well. So it's looking at the bed over here. If you don't get up and you actually just kind of stay in bed and you kind of just move around and stuff, it will gradually get louder and louder. And eventually, if you just stay in bed for 10 minutes and you're not getting up, Bowser's going to show up and really ramp up the music to try and get you to get up. So, again, it's a Nintendo product that's pretty fun and pretty cool. I did a full review on this, but I'm having fun with it for what it is. And it's a cool little Nintendo accessory that kind of came out of nowhere. The next one coming in here at number 19 is pretty unique for me, is the Amazon Kindle. This is the 12th generation Amazon Kindle that I just got, and I've never actually had a Kindle before, at least none that was my own, and mostly primarily it's because I haven't been a really big reader when it comes to reading books and stuff like that. I've only read a handful my whole entire life, to be honest, from back to front. But it's actually pretty fun for me to, finally get into it. I think, like, my New Year's resolution this year is to actually read more of these books and, to kind of get into these books. And the Amazon Kindle is obviously a great way to do that and stuff like that, as you can see here. And some of the books that I'm talking about reading right now is Ready Player One. Obviously love the movie. I really need to read the book because obviously most people always think the books are better than the movies. I haven't even read Harry Potter, and I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, which makes me, in my opinion, a fake-ass fan that has only watched the movies. So I want to read Game of Thrones. We all watch Game of Thrones and stuff like that, but I've never read the books. And reading them with Audible, so you can actually hear it being read to you, is my favorite way of reading, because I like following the book as I keep hearing the Audible books being read to me by different characters and stuff like that are reading these to you, different artists and celebrities and stuff. Like Will Wheaton, for example, reads Ready Player One to you and stuff like that, which is cool. But I like it being read to me, but I like following it. I don't like just putting it in the car and listening to it, because then sometimes I drift off and then I'm not fully paying attention. So for me, when I'm in the mood to read a book, I kind of want to sit here and use the Kindle and actually be able to follow along while he reads it and turn the pages and stuff, which makes me more visually looking into the book and not be distracted and stuff. But the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite 12th generation is the fastest I've seen. I haven't owned one myself, but I have had other Kindles in my hand before and I've used them before. This is easily the fastest. Obviously, like usual, I love the screen on it where it has like that nice backlight, and now it actually has backlight on it, so you can actually see your books in the nighttime, so you can have it on your bedside and be able to read them and stuff like that. It's everything you would expect out of a Kindle. I'm excited to dive into more of these books and stuff like that to be able to read them and finally get into books that I should have read a long time ago. Ready Player 2 is obviously going to be on my list. The only books I actually read recently is House of Night. I don't know how many of you guys have read House of Night. It was a romantic series based on vampires and stuff like that. And I couldn't put those books down when they were out. I read them all the way to 8 because then I got to 8 and they weren't done with the rest of the books, even though I know they are now. But yeah, it was really interesting to read those books and stuff like that. And that's kind of what happens to me. It's hard for me to get into a book and start reading it because I have so many other distractions around me. But once I get into a book, I can't put it down. That's exactly what happened with House of Night. It took me a while to be like, why do I want to read this and stuff like that? I got told to read it. It's a cool book and stuff like that. And I couldn't put it down after I started reading it. So that's the same thing that happened with this. I actually just started reading Ready Player One and using Audible for the first time, reading it to you, and now I can't put the book down. And that's exactly what's going to happen when I read Ready Player 2 and Harry Potter and the rest of these. And I'm a person who likes rom-coms and stuff like that. I actually just finished watching QB and Me, which, I actually thought was a pretty good movie. It was cheesy, but, it's a feel-good movie, and that's what you kind of need at this time of year during the Christmas season. And now I kind of want to read the books. I have that on my back burner. I want to read Harry Potter and Ready Player One and all that stuff first, but that's definitely going to be a book on my radar to read next. So, yep, Kindle coming in at number 19. The next one that we have here coming in at number 18 is going to be the Zoltar machine from New Wave Toys. This is my favorite thing New Wave Toys has released so far. I have a bunch of other New Wave toys that I've gotten over the years, but this one is my favorite one. Not only because it's so iconic from me in my childhood and stuff like that, where I see Zoltars even to this day, but the fact that they went all out and it's actually a working Zoltar, it really reads your fortune. It even prints out these little Zoltar Speaks things with actual things written on the back that you can actually read. You can get more of these if you want to. I just love everything of how they did this machine and how cool it actually looks here, as you can see.
You may have heard this, but Zoltar is here to tell you you can believe it. Age is simply a matter of mind. If you don't mind, then my friend, it doesn't matter. So go on, be carefree like a little baby. But first, give Zoltar a little money, and I will give you a fortune.
That's really cool, as you can see there, and you can actually put actual little coins that they give you in there. You could do different modes where you have to press the button on the side like I just did, or you can do motion censored ones, so it would just turn on, do motion sensor. So again, really cool, and you can spin this back in there if you don't want to actually tear them out. So again, just a really cool machine. It really replicates the Zoltar machine perfectly, and it's my favorite thing that New Wave Toys has made. The next one here coming in at number 17 is actually the PlayStation Portable, and I would have never thought that this would have been on my list before. Like I talked about when I did my full review on this, this is the 20th anniversary edition. You can see my PS5 kind of lives in my office here because I do a lot of VR content and I have the PSVR 2 right there. And this thing is a lot better than I thought it was. When I first got the original one, not the 20th anniversary one, it didn't work that well with the Wi-Fi in my house. I don't know what changed, but after I got this one, it is working exactly like I expected. It barely hiccups. It plays really well streaming, and I use it in my living room and stuff like that when I'm not, in my office and stuff and I want to go hang out somewhere else. Usually I'm on the couch watching a TV show, or something in the background, for example, like a YouTube video or something, and I want to play some NHL or something while I'm in the other room, or if I'm on the go somewhere else at a friend's house and I want to turn my PlayStation on, I can kind of take this with me. And obviously the big thing about this that I really love is not only the great gigantic screen that it has, but the remote controls that this thing uses, because this obviously has all the DualSense features that make the PlayStation what it is. And one of the reasons why PlayStation 5 is my favorite this generation over the Xbox is because of the DualSense controller, and the fact that it's built into this is what makes me want to use this over just using, my phone and streaming PlayStation games. And speaking of streaming, they just added an update to this thing where you can now stream games right to this, and you don't even need to own a PlayStation 5 anymore to play your games that are on there. You can just use PlayStation, you subscribe to the service and actually stream your games anywhere you are where there's Wi-Fi. So it makes it even better that now you can just buy those without even owning a PlayStation 5 and test out their library, which is pretty cool. So yeah, coming in at number 17 is the PlayStation Portable 20th anniversary. The next one here coming in at number 16 is the Steam Deck OLED edition. So I got this in the beginning of the year, and even though the Steam Deck OLED edition is not like, you know, a game changer by any stretch of the imagination, it is awesome to be able to have an OLED screen. It really makes a gigantic difference. Hopefully it's coming across in this video, just even looking at my library and my tiles and stuff like that, and how good the colors look like in the screen and how good the blacks actually look when they're black. And it's just a fantastic screen, and it makes the experience of having a Steam Deck that much better, in my opinion. I was using my Steam Deck all the time before, and I have so many different games to be able to play on here, you know, that just look that much better on an OLED screen. And obviously they also made the screen a little bit bigger, the speakers sound a little bit louder and a little bit better, so a lot of improvements on the OLED edition compared to the original model. So it really made me love the Steam Deck that much more once I got this into my hands, to be able to play these games and have them look as good as they look on an OLED screen on a handheld. Again, made me love the Steam Deck even more, even though there's more powerful handhelds out there currently. Having an OLED screen does really set it apart to most other handhelds out there. That makes it look, you know, a lot of fun to play on this. So Steam Deck OLED edition coming in at number 16. The next one here coming in at number 15 is actually the Anbernic device that you have here in front of me. And I've never really gotten into Anbernic devices. I've never really gotten into emulation devices, because a lot of the emulation that I used to do, I would just do on the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck is a pretty powerful device. And I have, you know, a SD card in there that specifically has Pedestal on it and has all of these devices already on there. But what sets these Anbernic devices apart, and this is not, I haven't done a review on this yet because I'm waiting for some other devices to get as well, because this is not my only one, is the fact that these are specialized in certain scenarios. For example, first of all, you can customize the OS. Like you can see, this looks like the original Game Boy and stuff like that, which is really cool. Has a thumbstick on it and stuff like that. And this one here specifically is the new 40XX, I think is what it's called. I'll put the model right here underneath the video. But I love the fact that you can customize all the OSs so they all have a different feel, different themes that people have made with MuOS that this is installing. That's MuOS. That's what's on this one specifically. And I have all of these different ROMs and stuff like that ready to go on here. But what I really like is that it's a specialized screen. So this particular screen is a 4x3 screen. So that means that even though, you know, you can play all of these games with no problem on a Steam Deck, having a specialized device like this that actually lets you play these games that maybe sometimes just work better on a 4x3 screen, because obviously, you know, we don't have a 4x3 screen on the Steam Deck, so a lot of them are going to be, you know, letterbox and stuff like that, and they're not going to take advantage of, you know, a 4x3 screen. But with a device like this, you can actually, you know, play with no borders and stuff like that. And the screen on this looks really, really good in my opinion. Of course, it's not an OLED or anything on this device, but I think it looks really good, and it really lends itself to, again, if I was going to play a Game Boy game and stuff like that, or or Game Boy Color, having a screen like this is much better than using a Steam Deck. So for me, what I've kind of determined nowadays is that instead of using the Steam Deck for everything, I use the Steam Deck to play higher stuff that's 16:9 content. So 16:9, that is, you know, things like the PlayStation 2 and up, kind of like that era and stuff like that, then I would play on there. But things like are specialized, like everything up to the PlayStation 1 on this device, is awesome. And stay tuned, because like I said, I got to do a review on these, but I still have other Anbernic devices and other devices in general that are emulation devices that I'm getting into for the first time on this channel that specialize in specific ones, like Game Boy Advance, because of the nature of the 3x2 screen, which obviously be awesome. Or having a really small handheld that you can pocket and take anywhere, because obviously a Steam Deck is not exactly portable, and this is like portable, but it's not really small like some other ones. Or 4x3 screens that are landscape mode instead of being in portrait mode like this in vertical form. So a lot of different things about these devices that I'm looking forward to getting into when I do my full reviews, but these have been really, really cool to get into, and I can't wait to get my other devices to showcase all these to you guys. But I'm having a blast with these, and look at how good Super Nintendo looks on here compared to what you would play on a Super Nintendo on a Steam Deck. This is a much better experience. So the Anbernic devices coming in at number 15. So the next one here coming in at number 14 is an iPad Pro. Now we all know what iPads are, so I don't think we need to spend too much time on this one. But the reason that this is on my list is because, first of all, I use it a lot for LumaFusion to edit videos for you guys. I watch a lot of regular videos on this on YouTube and stuff like that. It's obviously my only tablet device, and it's awesome. And the fact that I now have an Android phone as my daily driver for my phone, this lets me have access to both ecosystems. So even if Apple comes out with something that I really want to see, more than likely that feature is also going to be on the iPad. So I get to kind of explore both sides of it. And, you know, that makes great for someone who's on YouTube, but it also is just fun. I love exploring both operating systems and what they can do. And unfortunately, you know, the Android tablets, even the Samsung ones that I love because of the bigger screens, higher resolutions and all that, they just don't come close to the iPads because the app ecosystem is just not fully developed. A lot of people don't create iPad specific tablet apps and stuff like that for Android. So you're kind of just stuck with blown up phones, blown up apps for phones on the Android side, unfortunately. So iPad is something that I love to have, and it lets me have access to both ecosystems, which is awesome. And gaming on this device is awesome. And yeah, having a screen of this size that you can carry portably and watch your content everywhere is cool. So the iPad Pro coming in at number 14. So the next device here coming in at number 13 is the Playdate device. As you guys are looking at here, I have a little stand for it and everything. And the only thing that makes me wish that this thing had that it doesn't have is the fact that it has no backlight. So you can see I have to put it on an angle for you guys to even be able to see the screen. It's a black and white device that kind of is reminiscent of having a Game Boy and stuff, old school games. But what's really cool is that people are making these pocket-sized games that you can download on here that use this crank. This crank on the side is what really sets this device apart, but you can kind of crank this device when you play certain games and scrolling through the menu like you're seeing here too. But some games actually use this in unique ways, and I did a full review on this as well if you guys want to see what some of those games look like. But it is really cool that this crank is its unique feature, something that you haven't seen on other consoles. And I thought it was going to be a gimmick, but it really makes for some interesting games, like controlling when you're you know, surfing and stuff like that, to try and do tricks with this and spin around and stuff like that. You know, there's so many unique ideas. And what's awesome is that this is not a device that's stagnant. You know, there's new games coming out for this all the time because there is like a gigantic community surrounding this device. There's Wipe Water Wipeout, which is the one I was just talking about. And people are always making games for this, which is awesome. Casual Birder is another great game. So I have a gigantic amount of games on here. One of the ones on here that I really like also is the beer pouring one, where you have to pour glasses of beer and try to fill them up to the line, and you crank it to fill the bottle of beer, and then, you know, you have to stop it at the right point. So there's so many cool games on here. Like I said, I did a review on this already for you guys to check out, and they're actually just announced a season 2 coming out for 2025, where they're going to be 12 new games that they release like once a week and stuff like that, and people are making other games for it. So this device is awesome. The only thing missing out of this, I wish I had a backlight on it just so I could be able to play it in the dark. Because you do have to play this with the lights on because there's no backlight on there. But I love the style of it. I love the look of it. I think it looks fantastic. It looks like a sleek device, in my opinion, and it really is fun to play and really easily portable to bring anywhere you go. And there's nothing else like it. And yeah, I love this thing, and I still do, even though I bought this a while ago. And I love exploring new games that people come out with that are taking unique advantages of this device. So the Playdate coming in at number 13. The next one I want to talk about coming in here at number 12 is going to be the XArcade Tank Stick, as you guys are looking at here in my game room. And there's a couple of reasons why I really like this. And again, I did a full review on this device as well. All the links to everything I'm talking about will be down below if I can give you access to purchase them and stuff like that to make it easier for you guys. But first of all, I've had a Tank Stick before years ago. But what really is cool about these things is that as somebody who collects retro video games in this room, and I have all of these consoles over here from retro games and all of these newer consoles here on this TV, it is awesome to have a Tank Stick that kind of works with all of them, and all you got to do is buy adapters. So I don't need 10 of these things running around the house where I need like 10 different arcade sticks if I want to play different arcade games on different systems. This one, it comes with being able to obviously use this on a PC and stuff, and then you could buy adapters to basically use this anywhere you go. And I really like that it comes on a stand, as you guys are looking at. You can lower or higher it anywhere you want it to go, depending on if you're sitting or standing. Obviously, right now it's in the standing position. It's got that nice XArcade logo right there that lights up with LEDs and everything. The sticks and everything are really good. The trackball is obviously sitting right there. But what really sets this apart, that I really like, and the reason why I got into this product when they first announced it, is not necessarily because of that, of what I just talked about, because I've had arcade sticks before, and you know, I actually have one sitting right here that I use for the Xbox 360. But is the fact that you can actually use this in VR. They created a dedicated application called Arcade Ranger, as you guys are looking at here. And in Arcade Ranger, you can actually create your own arcade, but this actually syncs with your MetaQuest 3. It comes with an adapter that you plug into the side, And it's really awesome because then you can play these games in VR in your own arcade. Even if you don't have room for an arcade in your house, you can create this arcade virtually and invite your friends over. You could walk up to a machine, add ROMs to the Quest and stuff like that for MAME and all these other consoles, and you can actually use real controls. So I could be standing here with a VR headset on my head right now, playing these different MAME games if I'm in a virtual arcade. That's what really sets this apart, the fact that it works with VR. That's what makes it cool in my opinion. That's why I reviewed it on this channel, why I have this on my channel and in my home, because I think that's super cool and you know, really is something cool that no one else has ever seen. When I show my friends and they come over and they're like, oh, what's that? That's the first thing I lead them to, be like, hey, try this in VR and see how cool this is, to be able to be virtually in front of an arcade cabinet in a gigantic arcade that you can customize and create any way you want and be able to play those games using real arcade sticks. So the X Arcade coming in at number 12. The next one here coming in at number 11 is going to be the Polycade arcade machine that I recently got, that I did a couple of videos on here as you guys are looking at. And what makes this awesome is, you guys know I created a modern arcade in my home. I did a video showing off all my modern arcades. We got the pinball machines here. You know, we got Big Buck Hunter Reloaded. These machines are off right now. The Golden Team machine and stuff like that. That are more modern games. They're not like really retro games, for example. And the Polycade fits right at home in being in a modern arcade. First of all, it has a really modern design where it sits against the wall. It fits perfectly in here because I didn't have a lot of room and a lot of clearance. So I didn't want like another gigantic machine sitting right here. So the fact that it hung on the wall was perfect in my situation, came at the perfect time for creating this modern arcade. But what really sets it apart besides the look is also I really love that it has like the LCD marquee here, because I never had one on any other machines in the house. So when I'm flipping through games, it hasn't happened yet. They're releasing the software soon. You'll be able to see the marquees for each of the games sitting up here, which is obviously a cool thing. But the big thing is, obviously this being in a modern arcade, is that I play my Steam library on here, and it integrates with the Steam library really easily. So you can see a lot of games on here with the interface that this thing uses, a Polycade operating system that it uses, the application, that I have a lot of Steam games on here like Boomerang Fu and Castle Crashers and Celeste, and just things that work really well on an arcade machine that you would still want on an arcade machine, but it's a modern game. Things like Cuphead, things like, you know, Dive Kick, or even arcade games that are retro looking, but they're still modern because they came out recently, like Donut Dodo and Enter the Gungeon and, you know, Galaxy Champion, stuff like that. So for me, this machine is awesome because I get to play modern arcade games, modern Steam games on a modern machine that works with the controls that this is set up for. So that's why I love this thing so much, because obviously it has 2-player controls right now, and that's how I play all my modern Steam games on here. That's the primary use of this. But then the other side of it is I don't throw all MAME games on here and just throw them all in there for no reason, because that defeats the purpose of this. What I do is I catalogs what I actually want on here. So it's going to be games that uniquely do things. Like, for example, I have MAME games on here that use the pull system here with this spinner, like Tron, for example, Disc-O-Tron. Or if I want to play things like Afterburner with this flight stick right here, which I've never had a flight stick on any of my other arcade machines, which is awesome. Then you have these 2 dual joysticks right here for things that you can play like Karate Champ or Smash TV. Again, I've never had like these 2 the way that they're supposed to be right here for games like that, which is awesome. I actually want to buy another one of these so I can do 2-player Smash TV and stuff, which I didn't realize till after I bought that I probably want 2 of those specifically for that reason. But that's awesome because now I can actually play those games correctly. Same thing over here with 4-way joysticks are my 4-way games that are on here. So those specific MAME games that I add on here, things for the trackball, those I'll put on here if they work specifically for it. And even better is that there are modern games that work with this too. Galaxy Champions TV is a modern Steam game that is specifically designed for dual joysticks like this. Which is awesome. Same thing with the trackball. There's some trackball games on there, like the new Asteroids Recharge series that you can play with this, like Centipede, which is awesome to play with on a modern system with a trackball. So the Polycade for me has been everything I wanted it to be, and we're just getting started. There's a lot of updates that they're going to do to the software to make this even better, especially, of course, that marquee that I'm excited about, and some other stuff that they're cooking up, like a photo booth and stuff like that we'll talk about when that comes out. But yeah, this is definitely a highlight for me. Polycade coming in at number 11. The next one here coming in at number 10 is my Game Room Solutions 4-player pedestal. This is something that I always wanted to have in my home, is a 4-player machine that actually supports 4 players. I used to have an NBA Jam machine that I used, and it did its job that I modded from Arcade 1-Up and stuff like that, but it never really fit 4 big guys playing, or 4 big people playing 4-player games on here. So I have a PC behind there that's hiding with like a 4070, I believe, that plays anything that is 4 players. So on this system here, you'll see things from the GameCube and things from like the Switch, PlayStation 3, Dreamcast, you know, trackball games, Windows, arcade games, N64, things that will work on this machine that are 4 player based. So I don't have like the whole entire N64 catalog on here, because for me that kind of defeats the purpose. So you'll see games that are specifically made for 4 players, like you're seeing there. Same thing with the GameCube games. I'm not going to put every game on here because that defeats the purpose. This is a curated list of great 4 player games to play on the Nintendo GameCube. Same thing with, you know, if you scroll to Windows and Dreamcast and stuff like that, it will all be the same thing. It will be specific games that are designed to play with 4 players, and there's so many great Windows games on here, and this is running on a 4K TV, so that's why I had the beefier computer, because some of these PC games will look a lot better in 4K if I do it this way. So you can see there's a lot of different games that I play on here. Emulation, of course, runs fantastic on a 4070, and yeah, this system is great. Having all of these 4 player games on here that you can play is an awesome experience to be able to play on an arcade stick. There's so many great Steam games that work great on a 4 player system, and I love having this on here, like I said, for that reason. So I've been wanting one of these for so long. I finally got one. You got 8 buttons on players 1 and 2, 6 buttons on players 3 and 4, which is great. All the buttons that you can need with cup holders and stuff like that. And I think the artwork came out fantastic on this. I'm always worried sometimes about Game Room Solutions, because we all know I've had some headaches with them with my old pinball machine. But I think this one in particular came out great. I love that the characters look like they're popping out of bricks and stuff like that, which looks really cool. And yeah, it came out great, and I'm loving this machine, and people love it when they come over. And yeah, so my 4 player Game Room Solutions is coming in at number 10. So the next one here coming in at number 9 has got to be my Robosen Buzz Lightyear. I mean, as a kid, first of all, Toy Story is my favorite Pixar movie of all time. And who didn't want a Buzz when they were growing up? And the fact that this actually looks like Buzz, works like Buzz, and talks like Buzz, I mean, it's obviously really great detailed. His mouth and eyes actually move when he speaks and stuff like that. It actually came, it's kind of hiding back there, but you guys can see it actually came in his spaceship underneath my tree there, like it did in the movie, which is awesome. And I just love having this thing. I mean, check out, it has voice commands. It works with an app on your phone as well. You can walk him around. You could do things like, hey, Buzz.
Roger that.
What's the mission?
Actually, I'm stationed up in the Gamma Quadrant of Sector 4 as a member of the elite Universe Protection Unit of the Space Ranger Corps. I protect the galaxy from the threat of invasion from the evil Emperor Zurg, sworn enemy of the Galactic Alliance.
So you can see how awesome he actually is. You know, like I said, it's like having a real life Buzz in real life. The fact that, you know, it actually sounds like Buzz, again, looks like Buzz, and the first robot that I think I've ever seen that actually moves his eyes and mouth and stuff like that, which is super cool, like you guys saw. You know, and it has a bunch of different actions and stuff like that that you can mess with. I did a full video on this as well. But this is my favorite toy I've purchased. I did a Transformers one a long time ago with Optimus Prime. The transforming of that was awesome, but I wasn't like completely nostalgic about it. I mean, I knew who Optimus Prime was, but there's no nostalgic feelings for it because I didn't grow up watching Optimus Prime on TV. But this is nostalgia right here, and this is awesome to have this as a toy. Yes, it's expensive, but man, is it freaking one of the coolest toys that you can own. This Buzz Lightyear from Robosen comes in at number 9. The next one here coming in at number 8 is, yes, this Huupe basketball. Again, I did a review on this as well, but we all remember these mini hoops that we used to put behind our door. Well, this thing takes it to a whole nother level. Not only is the rim super durable where you can actually dunk on it, of course you can't actually hang on it, but you could dunk on it. It's made really well. You know, the back glass is like super indestructible according to them, and I've been putting it through its paces and it's been great. But obviously it's a mini hoop with a basketball. What sets it apart and what makes it really cool is not only is that screen behind it, you can watch TV and stuff like that with it and you know, do all these different things, but it's the fact that you can play online with other people. You can do Huupe Royale, where you can play either 1v1, 2v2, 4 players. You can play, you know, a bunch of different teams online with a group of 4 players with your friends and go up against a bunch of other teams in Battle Royale style and see who the last one is standing. And no, you can't cheat because this thing actually has sensors everywhere. You can kind of see them right there, and right there. So it knows like, hey, if it's a layup, it's only worth 0.1 points. If you go back here, it's worth 1 point. If you go even further back, it will be worth 2 points. And even further back, it will be 3 points. And it knows where you're shooting from, so there's no cheating. If someone's just going to stand here and dunk the whole time, you're only going to get 0.1 points every time you throw it in. So that's really cool. And the fact that you could watch TV and stuff like that, YouTube and stuff, and it can overlay the graphics on top of it, like I showed in my video, that actually showcases that is super, super cool. I will show you guys what I'm talking about with the points here just to give you guys a quick look. But it comes with a remote, and you can kind of scroll through. You can have a friends list, as you can see up there. Battle Royale is the online mode, but right now we're just going to do Just Hoops just so I could show you guys real quick how that works. You can have your own avatar. It keeps track of all your stats and stuff like that, of your lifetime, of how many shots you've made of each. But you can see, if I go right here, you see how that was only worth 0.1. See that? 0.1. Now, if I take a little bit of a step back, you can see that one was now worth, you see he actually announces 1 point, which is really cool. There's an announcer that tells you when you make 1 point, if you go real further back, then you can get 2 points and then 3 points like I talked about, and it keeps track of all of that. Like I said, you can play online with other players in different modes and stuff like that, which is super cool. You can go back and you can exit this. And like I said, it keeps track of your lifetime stats on here, which is really cool. So you can see if I go to my stats, everything that I've ever played in the game, it will kind of show me my stats. It will say 230 attempts, I've made it 89 times, 38% accuracy, 52% are layups, 31% are two-pointers, 14% are three-pointers, and it's really cool. You can see how many times I won online, which is 0. But you can see that at the bottom, so it keeps track of your classic wins and your battle royale wins when you play with teams of 4. The only thing I wish, and that's, you know, my house's problem, is my ceilings aren't exactly tall, so it's hard for me to throw like I would want to. Like, I can't arc the ball like I would want to because I'm gonna hit my ceiling, so I gotta adjust the way I throw, which makes it a little bit harder to win, and that's gonna be my excuse on why I haven't won online. But this hoop basketball, even though it's expensive, does really cool things. I would never have one of these in the back of my door if I couldn't play online with other players. It kind of reminds me of the dartboard that I have, is that everything changes if you can play online. And there's always players online to play with too, which is cool. So obviously a nice community is building around this, and I think it's super cool, you know, that something like this exists if you want to, you know, do something like this for your kids. This is really fun. And the fact that they can dunk on it and stuff like that makes for a really fun, you know, present to be able to give to someone. So yeah, the hoop coming in at number 8. The next one coming here at number 7 is pretty funny because I'm going to have to show you guys through a mirror as you guys are looking at, because it's what I'm recording with. It's this DJI 4K Pocket camera. I use this thing for everything now. It gives me much better quality. First of all, I'm recording all my videos now, mostly all of them in 4K, which is an upgrade to last year's 1080p videos. I think it comes out really good. I have my microphone right here, so it works really good with the Rode wireless microphones. That works really well on here. And it's easy to take around. I use it for all my vlogs that you guys have seen. I think it takes really, really good videos in the daytime, and it works extremely well. You guys have seen some of my Disney vlogs and stuff like that. The quality on that looks really good for what this device can do. And, you know, it's a lot better than using my phone and dealing with like low storage and stuff like that on my phone. I could just connect an SD card to this. So this has kind of been a game changer ever since I got it, you know, early at the beginning of this year for my content, making everything in 4K now, even though it takes longer to process, but it's worth it. The fact that I can carry it anywhere, the fact that there's an SD card in it, so I can get, you know, a 1 terabyte SD card and not worry about my phone, because I don't need 1 terabyte on my phone. And this takes a lot better video than what my phone could take in certain situations and stuff. So it's been a great thing, and I think you guys have seen that in the content. That content looks a lot better than it used to. You know, a couple of years ago when everything was in 1080p and I was using an older iPhone and stuff like that. So yeah, the DJI Pocket camera here that I'm using has been fantastic, and it comes in at number 7. The next one here coming in at number 6 is going to be my Unreal Air glasses that I've done a video on. These are the glasses that you can kind of put on here. As you can see, that I've had for a while. These are actually the generation 1s. I know that they just announced some new ones for coming out here in a couple of weeks, which is going to be interesting. We'll see if we get our hands on one of those or not to compare them to these. But these have been fantastic. I took these on my latest trip here to Disney that you guys saw, and the fact that I can take these anywhere that I go is what's awesome. But these are not new. I did not get this in 2024. So why is this on the list? Well, there's one specific reason for it, and that is the Beam Pro device that came out this year from XReal that you guys are looking at here. And what is this, you may ask? Well, this makes it so your glasses here can do a couple of things that I think is really unique and cool. First of all, it is a 3D camera, so you can see on the back here, so I can take 3D videos and pictures, and it does come out better usually than the 3D pictures and video that your iPhone took and stuff like that with spatial videos. And this, since they're actually separated the way that they're supposed to for 3D with the lenses there, makes for some great 3D pictures and videos that you can take on that. So that's really cool. You guys know I love 3D on this channel. And then the other thing is like, even though it looks like a phone and it basically is a phone, but just not with cell phone service, the other thing that's cool about it is, again, the storage that I could have on here. The fact that I can carry all my 3D movies on here. Yes, you can watch 3D movies. Again, you guys know I love my 3D movies. And before, it was a real pain in the ass to kind of put my 3D movies, because before, instead of having this, I would be using my phone. And the iPhone and stuff like that, and transferring 3D movies to there is not always the easiest thing. The glasses didn't work that great with it because it wasn't Android. And then on the S24, I was running out of space because some 3D movies are really large. Well, now I have a dedicated device where I throw all my 3D movies on here, which is awesome, on the SD card that I have on here. And then I can carry all my 3D movies and watch them on this device, and they surprisingly look really good. Is it the best 3D experience in the world? No. We'll talk about that when we get to a later device on this video. But for something on the go that's this small that I can carry portably and it's 1080p resolution, that you can watch 3D movies in the full 1080p resolution, it's amazing. And I love these things, and I love, the Beam Pro that came along with it. It's not perfect. It does have some bugs and stuff like that, like XReal loves to do, and hopefully they come out with fixes here soon for this. But overall, I'm happy with the features that the thing adds to the glasses as being a dedicated device, and I can power it with this. I don't have to worry about draining my battery on my phone when I carry this around, because this kind of does its own thing, and you can charge it at the same time that you're using it, which you couldn't do with your phone. So a lot of advantages of having the XReal Beam Pro from this year, and I'm having a blast with it. And even with the new glasses that are coming out, there's still some advantages. All the advantages I talked about still kind of exist for this thing, even if you get the new XReal glasses, because even though these added support to be able to do, more AR stuff like anchoring your video while you're watching it, because you're using an Android device where it would anchor something on here and you can turn your head and it would still stay anchored there with body anchor and stuff. That's what this device now lets you do with these glasses, because it wasn't built in. The new glasses that are coming out do have that built in now, so that feature on here is maybe a little bit obsolete. But like I said, the 3D pictures and videos that you can take, the 3D movie that you can carry everywhere, having like a dedicated device that lets you charge it while you're using it and all that stuff, all still applies. Watching content from Netflix and all that stuff on here, using it with your phone is, in my opinion, really, really cool. So the XReal Air glasses with Beam Pro comes in at number 6. Keeping up with the glasses trend here, coming in at number 5 is going to be the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Now, obviously you guys don't know this, but I've always wanted a pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses all the time, but I never actually forked over the money for it. And then these came out, and I think for 300 bucks, these are kind of insane of the value, and they keep adding value to it and stuff like that. Of course, I can't wait till they, add even more to this with like, future products where they actually add screens to it and stuff like that, which is going to be awesome. But for right now, these look like a regular pair of glasses, but again, they have speakers built into them, so you can listen to music on the go, and it looks just like regular Meta glasses. You can get prescription in them as well, which I didn't get the first time because I didn't know how much I was going to like them, but now I would in the future when I get them again. You can see it has cameras in the front, so yes, you can take videos when you're walking around, you can take pictures when you're walking around, not have to pull your phone out, which is super cool. It has, again, speakers built in so you can listen to music and stuff like that, which is awesome. But also what makes these really cool, in my opinion, is the Meta AI, because you can ask it whatever you want. And, I've really been getting into AI devices and stuff like that, and this is super cool. And Meta AI keeps getting better and better. You can kind of wear the glasses and you can say, hey, what's this in front of me? And it will tell you what you're looking at by looking at what the glasses are looking at through the cameras and stuff like that. So it has a lot of cool use cases. It's really fun to wear. It doesn't feel that much worse than wearing a regular pair of Ray-Bans. And I think $300 is kind of insane for what these things are. I can't wait to see what the future of these holds when they add a little screen to it, so you can actually see when you talk to the AI. It would actually showing you things in the glasses with the little video feed, because right now, like I said, there's no video, there's no screens on it like the other glasses I was just talking about, but that is something that they're working on for the future, and I'm definitely excited for it. But yeah, the Meta AI glasses have been awesome, Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and I can't wait for the future product of these and what happens in the future. So these come in at number 5. Now on the next one here, coming in at number 4 has got to be what we talked about before, my Galaxy S24, as you guys are looking at here. Ultra, this thing has been fantastic in every way that I could want a phone to be. I love the big screen on this device compared to other devices. I love the high resolution. Everything about this device has been great. I think a lot of people have loved Samsung for a while. It was a long time that I was on the iPhone. I think it was like 2.5 to 3 years where I hadn't had an Android device. I was very behind on what Android devices can do and stuff like that. And I just love the way that you can customize your whole entire phone compared to what an iPhone does. Background, video screens, contacts, everything that you would want to customize on here. I love the way that the device feels. It really feels like a premium device. The pictures that I've gathered out of this device look fantastic, as you guys are looking at here. This is a picture that I took while out there and stuff like that. Here's a couple of other ones and stuff. I just think that they look really, really good on here. There's another really great shot with the cruises there in the background. And yeah, it takes really good pictures. I really love the phone. I love the AI on it and everything. So it's fun to be back on Android after being on iPhone for so long with a device like this. And I feel like Samsung has kind of won me over for a while. I think I'm gonna be on Samsung for at least a couple of years, just like I was with iPhone, until I kind of maybe feel like I missed the iPhone. But right now, especially with the latest updates to RCS, where iPhone people can now message people on Android and you don't feel like a second class citizen with iMessage, because a lot of those features are now there with read receipts and group messaging and stuff. It kind of takes that away. The only thing that they really have left is FaceTime, which is a little bit easier if you have an iPhone. iPhone to iPhone, as opposed to me having a Samsung and trying to FaceTime someone else is a little bit more of a pain if they have an iPhone. So S24 Ultra has been awesome. The pen that's there on the bottom here has also been useful to write notes and stuff like that. And just the customizability of what Android offers is awesome. So the Galaxy S24 Ultra comes in at number 4. The next one here coming in at number 3 has got to be my real pinball machines. This is not a shock. You guys know I love arcade machines. That's what a lot of this channel is based off of. And these real arcade machines that I have, the Stranger Things from Stern and the Toy Story 4 from Jersey Jack, have been fantastic. It really makes me want more of these if I could actually fit them in the house. My ceilings are not that tall in this house, especially in the basement, and it makes it really hard for these to fit. These barely fit underneath here. As you guys are looking at, this literally made it by the slim of his teeth. And but man, these things every time I have a party here, these machines are always constantly being played. I mean, all of them are, but we'll get to that in a minute. But these are always getting played. People are loving them. They've worked great. And I've never played real pinball until this year, to be honest. Maybe I did when I was a kid and I forgot about it. But early this year is when I started getting into pinball, because I saw a lot of people on YouTube talking about it. I was like, you know what? I need to check this out for myself. And then I played real pinball and I was like, I could see what everyone's talking about. This is so much fun. It's super cool to actually have a physical ball moving around. It's very different. And the virtual pinball machines are and stuff like that. And it is super cool. Obviously, I don't have an infinite game room there where I can just fit a million different pinball machines that are real in my house, because I have other interests and other things that you guys know I like on this channel. But to be able to have 2 real pinball machines, not to mention how expensive they are, is super cool. There might eventually be a third one coming into this house, maybe. And that will be my last one that I actually found room for. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure, but I am enjoying the hell out of these. So is everyone else who comes over. Nothing beats, like, and also the modability of these things. I've added so many mods to this Stranger Things, between LEDs on the side, between the art blades on the side right there, between this dice here for the plunger here, which is awesome. The LED there in the front, like little stickers and stuff like that go around it. The waffle start button. The modded LEDs on here on the back of the speakers, the actual speaker grills right there that you guys can see on either side. This game actually has an SD card hack, so it has more music from this TV show and stuff like that they came out with. So many super cool things about this machine. I added, glow-in-the-dark rubber bands there inside for all the flippers and everything. I added some mods like that arcade sign back there, the Dig Dug arcade machine, that guy sitting right there. I mean, so many cool mods that you can do with this that are super awesome and super easy to do, like this bat right here that I have right here, which is also awesome. Again, super, super cool stuff with the Stranger Things machine. And Toy Story, like you guys heard me say before, is my favorite Pixar movie of all time. So even though this is an easier pinball machine, I still think it's fantastic. It looks beautiful. I don't know if it will ever leave my collection, just because of how big of a fan I am with Toy Story. And also the fact that it's an easier game to play, sure, but that lends itself to the people who come over to my house and play, because no one's going to be a pro when they come over here. A lot of my friends have never played pinball until they come here. So it lends itself to being easy for people to get into and play, and people know the Toy Story theme. So it really lends itself to being a great part of being in my collection. So again, my real pinball machines come in at number 3. And then moving right along to number 2 is my virtual pinball machines. This is the At Games Legends 4K, and this is my Requiem Worlds full 4K build. Now I do like this machine for what it is as well, for the At Games 4K. Because there's still tables on here that are uniquely on here. I think the SSF kit is outstanding, and I think for the price, nothing beats what you can get out of this for the price out there, unless if you literally build your own out of wood and you know how to do all the woodwork and stuff. But when it comes to a buy home product and just bring it home and play, nothing beats this for the price. I think it's fantastic. And, I've done a review on this and I love mine. The SSF kit really sets it apart. And even though I have a better machine sitting right next to it, I still play this sometimes for the leaderboard support that you can play online with other players. The tournaments At Games does. Some of the unique games that are on here that you can't find anywhere else. The At Games specifically builds for it. So I love this thing exactly for what it is, and it is super cool. And I love the Snoopy edition that we have here. But moving on here, this is the Rec Room Masters 4K virtual pinball machine, the 8.0. This is something that I've always wanted because as you guys are looking at here, if you guys remember on my channel, I used to have a 27-inch 4K Game Room Solutions build that I kind of built myself. It didn't really have all the features that this thing has. It really just had a shaker motor inside and a couple of solenoids, and that was it, and a really basic surround sound. But this here is like the Ferrari of what you can get in virtual pinball. It has every single toy you can think of. You can see the LED lights on the speakers there on the back of the machine, underneath, on the sides there, on the rails. You got the bulbs on the side. And then it even has a fan there in the front that actually blows air out at you. It has the fire button there. I mean, all of these different things that you can see on here, like those side LEDs and the back ones, they're actually game controlled. They're not just there for nothing. They're not just randomly syncing random colors. They're syncing based on the game that you're actually playing, and it really all goes throughout the game. So these are all things that I never had before, is these LED controls. Then we have the topper monitor, which I never had a topper monitor before on my older machine. And this machine, of course, has a 50-inch or 49-inch playfield, which is much larger than my other one, much bigger DMD, much bigger back glass. So all in all, I mean, this is the best thing that I own in my house currently. It's the most addicting thing that I play. It's got me more and more into virtual pinball because of all these features that it has inside, that it lets me play, it lets me enjoy virtual pinball even more because it's getting closer and closer to feeling like the real thing. I mean, even though I love my real pinball machines that I just talked about, I don't have the world's largest game room, and I'm not going to be able to afford buying every single table. But on a virtual pinball table, you can play all these tables like Ghostbusters, Deadpool, Godzilla, Guardians of the Galaxy, Harry Potter, like all favorite properties that I know and love. And the tables are made so well, and they get updated all the time, and new tables come out all the time, that with all of these things that this thing does, like surround sound feedback, all the LEDs, the shaker motor inside, everything that this thing has on the inside that makes it feel as mechanical as possible really sets it apart and just lets me have so much fun with this actual machine here. And like I said, it's my favorite arcade machine that I own in the house that I play the most of right now. And we haven't even gotten started about the fact that this thing also plays VR as well. And I haven't done a video on it yet, but I do have VR set up on this thing, so you can actually go in here and play all the VR tables. And what again sets this apart is if I put on my Quest 3, use the link cable that I have here on the floor, and I just go ahead and connect it to my headset. Sure, I'm in VR playing pinball, but now I get to use my actual machine. So I get to use the flipper buttons and feel like I'm still playing a physical machine in front of me. I still feel all the mechanical stuff, all the solenoids inside, the surround sound feedback. So virtual pinball comes in at number 2. And the number one thing on this list has to be the Apple Vision Pro, the very first thing that I got on this list at the beginning of the year. I still use this thing all the time. I know a lot of, reviews came out when this thing first dropped, and a lot of people probably just bought the thing and then returned it with immediate plans, not because they didn't like it, but because their plans were always to just review it, get clicks, and return it. Well, I'm here to tell you that when I bought it, I had intentions of keeping it if it was good, and I like it, so here it is. I still use it all the time. I use it as a media device. Yes, I wish that they actually supported controllers, even though rumors are they're actually working with PlayStation to actually have that coming soon to support those controllers, which is going to be awesome. But right now, gaming is severely lacking on it because hand controls can only go so far. But as a media viewing device and as a device to use like my applications like TikTok and Instagram, surfing the web and stuff like that, like a regular, iPad on your face, as people like to say, it is outstanding, and that's exactly what I use it for. It's like my iPad for my face. It's my media device, and like I said, I'm a huge 3D fan, so the fact that I can watch 3D movies on this thing and it be the best 3D movie experience that I've ever had, except being at a theater, and having it at my home is fantastic. And yes, it's expensive, but I'm enjoying every time I put this on. I'm still getting amazed on how good the quality is, and it's just an outstanding piece of thing that Apple created. Hopefully they keep going forward with it, and they keep driving the price down so more and more people can get into this because it's awesome. And all they need is controller support so we can get more games ported over, and I think more and more apps get put on there because right now apps are severely lacking, games are severely lacking. There are some standouts that have come out so far, like the Game Room board game application that came out from Resolution Games and stuff, but we definitely need more And Marvel's What If was also really cool. But yeah, the Apple Vision Pro comes in here at number 1. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that list of my top 20 favorite things of 2024. So many good things released this year. Obviously, my favorite, as you guys saw, being the Apple Vision Pro. I love that headset. I use it all the time for media watching. Yes, there are things I wish that they would do differently, like I talked about with adding controllers and stuff, but nothing beats the media watching experience on there, especially 3D movies on there look fantastic in those environments. You know, and then unique things like the Playdate and stuff like that that came out this year, or you know, things that surprised me that are even on this list, like the Amazon paperweight Kindle. You know, as somebody who never used to read before, the fact that I'm getting into it now and having these items on the list are kind of cool on things that we're doing. And then of course my pinball machines. I'm having a ton of fun, not only playing them myself, but people coming over and seeing pinball machines for the first time, especially virtual pinball machine that they've never seen what that stuff can do. Is obviously awesome to see people enjoying that as much as I do when they come over here. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this list. Let me know your favorite things that came out in 2024 that maybe weren't on my list. Let me know what those are. And thank you guys for watching. Till next time.